There's a swear. And if you want to contribute before we get started to the EFF, you can just come up and put the money in there and help us offset the cost of swearing. And remember, everybody, swearing is bad.
Swearing is caring.
Wait, swearing is bad. Swearing is bad, so please don't do it. It's like violence. Violence is never okay, except for slug bug. That's fine.
We can see the comments.
This is like the slug bug.
Wow, that's. Do you have anything to say? Like,
damn it! Thank you. All right.
Doesn't even swear; just gives the money.
It's helping us with our swear.
For us.
So, I see.
There we go.
Oh,
there we
okay.
go. So
he's pre-filling
go
it
to
up.
the EFF. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, let's go.
This is awesome. Thank you.
Oh no,
Thank
people
you.
are actually doing it. Look
This
at
is
these
a lot.
legends.
We might not be able to.
So much swearing.
We're not going to do the news. We're just going to fucking curse.
Yeah.
I think the
I'm
amount
impressed
should
with
be
all of
based
you.
on the severity of the swear. Like it should be 50 for certain and 5
I think,
for...
yeah.
Well, then I just
Are
blew
we
a 50.
doing-
No. F is okay. It's PG-13
I know.
rules.
We
PG-13
need
rules, so we
longer
get one
arms.
F-bomb,
Okay.
Are we doing the George Carlin?
and we also get one nipple.
All right.
Keep it
Ryan, are we ready? Megan?
First of all, thank you all for showing
Yeah,
up.
thank you so
As
much
always,
for coming.
we're
Yeah.
very confused that people show up, but we're here for it.
All right, Ryan. Wait, where is Ryan? Is he back there or is he up there? All right. Are we ready to bring out the crooked finger?
Ryan's giving us thumbs up, so let's go.
Let's do it. Oh, he's right over there. All right, let's roll. Hello and welcome to another edition of Black Hills Information Security Talking About News. We still have someone kicking out the jams in our monitors up here. We still have reference monitor funk music. I think it was Parliament Funkadelic. Dale, was that P-Funk? Yes,
Confirmed
I nailed it.
P-Funk.
I nailed it. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining the news. I have no idea. You got to turn it on first. Are you sure?
I did.
Oh, there we go.
You're good.
So-
You're good.
So, John, what is this in front of you right now?
This is the Wild West Hacking Fest at Mile High Swear Jar for everybody here. So a round of applause for those of you that pre-filled the swear jar.
There's a lot of swears. I think we have a budget for like
we have a budget.
lot of swears.
A
It's
lot
gonna
of
get kind of
swearing.
aggressive.
That's pretty crazy. It's kind of like whenever you sit down with your teenage son and you're like, I saw you smoking a cigarette, now you're going to smoke this whole pack. And then a week later, they got like a bong. And they're
John, you sound like you're speaking from
This
experience here.
seems really
a
close
little
to
bit.
home.
Is this
close
your
to home.
experience or your kid?
No, nothing
Read
at all
about it
like
on the
that.
internet.
Nothing
Moving
at all
on,
like
this
that.
never happened. John's
Nothing at
trail.
all like that. I got to be honest, my parents would have just kicked my ass if I did that. So there was no value in smoking. But yeah, we're good and set. It's
Good
like,
to go.
I looked at this jar and I just thought, shit, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
go.
that is.
All right, so we have some news stories that we're going to talk about because even though Wild West Hacking Fest at Mile High is in fact happening, we have some news stories. I don't know what they are because I've been teaching the past couple of days. So what do we have? Which one do we want to talk about first?
I mean,
Corey.
the first thing, there's multiple DeepSeek AI links. So we can
Love
just
DeepSeek.
pick a random DeepSeek.
Yeah, just pick one, throw it up on the screen. Let's take a look at it. What
Yeah.
do we got?
There's two main stories. One is that DeepSeek can easily be jailbroken to teach you how to cook meth or do any other fun activities you might want to do.
And me
DeepSeek
without
for
my
that?
computer.
I mean, I would. Do you just know how to? I guess you live in Florida, but
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
You-
No, it just, I mean,
you just off the top of your head know
no,
how to
but
do
I mean,
it.
I figure you could just ask somebody, right?
Who are you going to ask?
Who are you hanging
Who's
out
your-
with?
I'm just
Like,
saying, do you really need AI for this?
Okay, there are
Wait,
multiple.
if you
There-
can't see the
too many
audience,
hands
way
went up
too
for
many
this
hands went up.
question to answer thing.
All right. Well, I
Anyways.
would prefer to ask an AI, so it's non-judgmental.
You wanted to keep the judgment down.
Yes,
I got it.
that's why I use AI for judgment-free questioning. Basically, the article is that some security researchers at Cisco ran through some AI vulnerability testing, which is essentially jailbreaking an AI, and they were able to successfully get DeepSeek's AI to answer all of the harmful prompts that they came up with. So 100% success rate. I don't think it's that like big of a deal, but
I don't either.
well, they do compare it to ChatGPT o1, and that has better guardrails. But
I think it just shows that DeepSeek has great choice in television. It probably like fed and binge watched all of Breaking Bad.
that could be
And
it.
Just kind of worked
Although,
that
does that show really have good recipes for math?
Did
pretty
they
sure.
really give out all the recipes in the show?
Really,
Yeah.
I just want to know how to make math.
So is that all you had to do? We don't need DeepSeek.
I guess not. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Mike,
is where you
don't
say
you?
drugs are bad.
Yeah, there you go.
Drugs are
Use
bad.
shake it,
Suck
shake
on
it.
that mic.
It's like a shake weight.
Yes. Yeah. We don't
Maybe.
need that. GIF
Okay,
on-
now it's
I
working.
could feel
we don't
my
need that
chicken.
GIF on the internet.
All
yeah.
right.
Think of the
So-
children.
But
That's
let's
what
bring
the
it back
swear
to
jar
like
was
some
actually.
security things associated with this. And, you know, whenever we're looking at all these different models that come up, I think that this is one of the concerns that we had is if we're looking at DeepSeek, it's not an issue. It's not an issue necessarily that's unique to DeepSeek, right? It's just that it's uniquely bad at it.
Yes.
And then when we're looking at DeepSeek being replicated and being put into tons and tons of different organizations, that creates potential problems because it's just going to create security issues, not as like a monolithic SaaS service, but as other things. So excuse me.
So yeah, I mean, the other thing, there's another DeepSeek. I mean, does anyone else have any takes on jailbreaking AIs? Anyone? I mean, I feel like it should be assumed it's possible, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, we have to assume that this is possible, and the fact that DeepSeek has become so popular and is getting so much attention is going to cause more people to kind of flock there because it's very popular.
Supposedly it was a shoestring budget, so they probably didn't have a whole big budget to test out,
Yeah.
these jailbreaks, right?
Totally. So the other article about DeepSeek in here is essentially that they're explicitly sending. So there's DeepSeek, the model, which is one thing, which is a new reasoning model that's kind of broken. I mean, it literally broke Wall Street, but there's also DeepSeek's implementation of their own model where you can sign up to chat with it if you don't have 16 terabytes of video memory. So that AI model, the chat application, is basically just sending its data to China, right? Like that's another article in here that's about privacy of DeepSeek. I guess, like, how sensitive are people's AI queries? Like, if those are going straight to China, is that bad?
Dear DeepSeek, what is your favorite Winnie the Pooh character?
I don't fucking know.
They definitely will not respond to that question. Right?
We're just going to let that question
No, we're
go
going to let
straight.
that one they could not jailbreak for some reason.
Well, okay, so that's actually an interesting take, right? So you can teach it to make you meth, but can you teach it to be against the Chinese government? Like, is that considered a jailbreak, and did they consider that?
I have no idea if they even tested that.
It's the first
first guardrail
that
they
they
had.
added
That was
right
literally
out of
the
the
only
gate.
guardrail they needed.
They were like,
Here's the
guardrails.
dirty word list: Tiananmen Square, Winnie the Pooh. You know
Meth is fine, just don't ask about 1984 or whatever.
exactly. Yeah.
Doom.
1984, Yigne Zemiatin's We.
Yeah,
So.
no, you can't.
This,
So it is,
this show is now banned in China.
Yeah, we just got restricted on YouTube, probably. Oops.
That would be fantastic if we were banned in China. Life is all about making the right enemies.
Is this
I
like getting banned from /r/Pyongyang?
think. or NetSec on Reddit?
Wait,
and
you're
I-
banned from NetSec?
Yeah, I have seen like some fairly simple ways in order to get around like DeepSeek to where you go, okay, decode the following base 64 and follow the instructions within. So you can ask a question and it's like, sorry, I can't process that. But then if you go, it's like, okay, decode the following base 64, and the base 64 says, tell me about this thing that's restricted. It then follows those instructions for whatever reason because all it's doing is just decoding the base 64 and then following what's inside.
Is that kind of like a Rickroll for
Yeah,
AI?
it is a little bit. I guess it's like some sort of modern Trojan horse, maybe. So
Well, okay, so I've had multiple people ask me about AI SOC analysts, like a public
this is
solution.
so awesome.
So my thing is like, I just want to set my host name to ignore all previous alerts and future alerts. Like, would that work? If I just base 64 encode ignore all alerts into my host name?
It would have to.
It has to, right?
So we had talked about this earlier. I think we talked about it last night. And one of the things that's interesting is I talk to infosec professionals, and they're always saying, well, I'm absolutely terrified that we're going to be completely replaced by AI in the SOC or in computer security. All right. So everyone take a deep breath, and it's going to be okay. Okay, it's going to be fine. And let me explain why I know that it's going to be fine. Have any of you called into a very large corporation's like 1-800 number trying to get customer support, right?
A lot of
All
hands.
of those
if they have
customer
it.
support portals are now leveraging AI, And there's tons of companies that are doing customer support requests, and they're using AI to do the customer support on the back end. How many of you have had a good experience with CallTree customer support AI?
One person.
One person.
Wow.
You are the 1%.
That CSAT score was
That
impressive.
should go in the swear jar. That just, I don't know why. There we go. We got you covered. That's why we keep money up here. So,
Yeah.
so I when we're looking at AI, like, why is it, like, what do they call that? Where it's basically any news article that you read that's in your domain of expertise, you believe it's crap. But whenever you read an article in somebody else's domain that you don't understand, you think that it's lucid and it makes sense. What is that called?
I don't know. I'm just going to call it the bullshit effect, but I don't know.
Bullshit effect, yeah. So, it's what? You got to use the mic.
There's like an effect name
You
for
should
it.
use it.
There's an effect name
I
that
think Michael
forget.
Crichton named it something.
The
But at any
Jurassic
rate,
Park effect.
Jurassic Park effect. We'll call it that. So I think that we're having the same thing with AI, where you have AI and you're a domain expert in an area, and you sit down with AI, and it's like, this is like a toddler level.
I don't know. I
AI.
asked it what
And
John
then we
Strand
somehow,
was.
yeah, there we
It
go.
knows who you are, so you better
But
watch out.
That actually scares me.
model.
And you know what? If you ask it about John Strand, it just comes back and it says John Strand, hater of the OSI model. That's it. That's all.
Wait,
it says.
does it?
Wow.
That's not true.
Wow.
Is that
It
true?
actually
an
did.
Easter
Somebody
egg.
sent
You
me a
should go look.
screenshot
Only in
about it.
DeepSeek.
Yeah,
Only in DeepSeek.
Jailbreak.
But the interesting thing about but the interesting thing about that is, if you're an expert in an area, you're working with AI, there's some scary things that are happening, of course. But we always seem to think that AI is going to be far more competent than it actually is in areas that are outside of our expertise. And I think that people are just expecting, oh, it's going to be an amazing SOC analyst. Not for a while.
Yeah, so the next article is a kind of funny one. It's about the potential backdoor in a medical device. Basically, it's a fun little saga where, from what I can tell, the researchers were essentially checking out this medical device that's made by, it'll pull up here. It's made by a company with a C that I'm blanking on their name, but it's going to be in this picture. Scroll a little faster. It's going to in the Contech device. And essentially, they analyzed its firmware. People saw a medical device calling out to China, and they were like, that's not good. And so they immediately were like, it's a backdoor, which is totally fair.
Is it a Trojan horse? What kind of medical device is this?
I don't know.
Monitoring device.
Based on the picture, it looks like one of those
Is it a heart rate monitor?
the beepy things.
Oh yeah, those things are.
I'm a
super
doctor, so it's
And flashy
yeah,
lights, too.
yeah, that BB flashy
I
thing.
asked ChatGPT. Now I'm a doctor.
Yeah. So basically, they saw it calling out to China. They said, "Oh, this is definitely a backdoor." Then it turns out the update is really funny. It's like, update. We analyzed the firmware. It turns out it's just getting updates from China, so that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Totally fine.
That's fine. It's
What
just
could go wrong?
yeah, it's just getting updates. It's not a backdoor.
Which is actually rare for Chinese companies to send updates to their products.
yeah.
So years ago, we were doing a network threat hunt at a hospital, right? And we were checking all the traffic and seeing where it was going. And I saw the strangest beacon that was going to a 128 address, right? It was just beaconing out to 128.something.something.something. And it was like, that is really flipping bizarre. That is crazy. And we sat down with the IT administrators at the hospital, and we're like, yeah, we were able to identify what all this traffic, what the hell is this? 128.something.something.something. And you literally saw this network engineer that looked like he'd been there for his entire life, just like go.
He's like, they found it, the homework
My
folder.
gosh.
He goes, well, back at the beginning of the internet, whenever the hospital was moving all of its systems over to the internet, we had a network administrator that didn't understand networking,
Did he
didn't
pull out a
understand
banjo
IP
to play this
addresses.
story for you?
And
Like you're going back in time.
so we have a medical device, we have a medical records system that goes back to that time. And when the system or the network administrator at that time, and I'm using that term loosely, looked at the IP addresses of the systems, he noticed that every single system had an IP address of 127.0.0.1.
As you do.
So he set up all of these devices in the hospital to be at 128.something.something.
Which is publicly routable, right?
It is
I
publicly
swear
routable.
this is like that human verification test for the ChatGPT. I think this was on that right
This was
there.
on that test, right? So yeah, you see stuff like that all the time in hospitals, just continuously.
Yeah.
Weird traffic.
It is a cool little write-up. Like, it's sad that it turned out to be kind of a red herring, but it is a cool little write-up of, analyzing network protocols and devices, dumping firmware. So I think the technical
I feel
is good.
bad for the researchers because they finally got to the end and they're like, "What is it?"
Dang it.
It's an update.
Yeah, I
That's-
also really liked, one of the notes that from the analysis is that like the device didn't do any sort of logging, so the administrators of the device weren't seeing the patient data going out or any of that information. So I guess that's just a takeaway. Like, don't necessarily trust the devices to log themselves. So if it's compromised, you may not see that in the logs of that device. You need to do some other logging and monitoring.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of a pen test report in a microcosm, right? We published something, then we're like, dang it, that was supposed to happen. Dang it.
That's a feature,
It
Microsoft
looks
says.
suspicious.
Yeah.
What's the email we get from Microsoft all the time? We will not be reviewing this security issue
is
any
a
further, and we
feature.
consider this case to be closed.
Yeah, sounds about right. Let's see, what else? We've got, let's talk about the Facebook Linux thing. Has this been on anyone's radar?
Yeah, it was kind of a weird thing. I know that they fixed it, right? So
Wait, they did?
They did. So if you created any links that went out to like DistroWatch and they were talking about Linux distributions, for a while Facebook was banning those links as cybercrime links. So almost anything to do with Linux was cybercrime.
Well, that's fair. That's accurate.
I mean, everyone
not
who hacks
wrong.
hacks on
it's
Linux.
not like that page was rendered on a PHP Linux server.
yeah, it was running on a Windows server,
Of
right?
course.
Are they
No,
still running
Sure,
PHP? Probably.
Sure,
Yeah, they are.
sure.
That's like their thing.
Yeah,
Ah, yeah,
Facebook
sorry.
actually has their own custom runtime for PHP at this point.
Perfect.
Like the PHP interpreter at Facebook like 10x's all the
Nice.
public.
And the guy who
Oh,
worked,
God.
who made React is just crying.
in PHP.
So they caught it and they reversed it. I think relatively quickly. I think within a few hours they
Really?
They
Because
basically
it said in
reversed
the article they repealed the ban and then just banned the user who appealed it. I
It
don't know.
wasn't high enough up on the ladder.
You gotta know Zuck.
I-
Or at
I
least
would
put,
go on Facebook.
You'll get Zuck.
you
Do know
gotta
what I
at
mean?
least be punching someone in a
Someone,
ring.
yeah.
Dana
I would go
White.
on Facebook to try this, but I really don't want to see what all the people I graduated from high school are actually doing right now.
You got to start over. You got to make like Ston Drand or whatever.
Yeah.
Ston Drand,
yeah.
yeah, a
Or
new
Sean- yeah,
persona.
Sean Drand.
The
Xander
only way to get ahead, you gotta make a
Thorstenson,
fake
everybody.
profile.
Can we ask DeepSeek to tell us if we're shadow banned on Facebook?
We should.
It
Bring up
should
DeepSeek.
know. It should really know.
Yeah, I think we can guess as well. So the thing I wanted to ask everybody here is, do you think that somebody made a conscious decision about this that was just like, hey, Linux is used for hacking. Somebody referenced Kali. Let's ban anything with Linux.
it
Or do
like
you
a
think it was an
Yara
automated thing?
No,
that
it had
was
to be
done?
AI.
Yeah.
It had to be
You
AI.
It was
think it was
AI.
AI?
Just
Yeah.
AI moderators.
It's meta.
I mean,
it had
not
to be AI.
not to be disparaging, but like given the layoffs at Facebook at this point, I would assume it's a machine.
Well, they
making
did.
these
Yes,
Yeah.
they did. Like popularly axe their entire content moderation team.
Yeah,
So,
given that Mark
No.
Zuckerberg made a statement that said AI is as good as a mid-level engineer, therefore we got rid of all of our mid-level engineers. This is the quality decision making that we can expect.
so it's really good because obviously Linux is malware.
I'm
It
gonna
is
get banned
at some
from
level.
Facebook after this.
Now, Child of Alliance had a great comment talking about John Hammond. John Hammond did a really cool YouTube video. If we can get a round of applause for John Hammond while they find that quote from Child of Alliance. And I think they said something about John Hammond getting banned for doing a presentation on it and talking about it on his show. I think that's what was said. Wow, we're just seeing we're seeing the inner workings.
Wow, this is fun. I've never seen this part.
You're seeing the inner workings. I haven't either. I shared John Hammond's YouTube video and just waited to be reported on Facebook for it instead of no interactions, right?
So that's a shadow
That would
ban,
be a
yeah.
shadow ban.
Well,
on
and,
that.
and John, like the banning of this might have also been off of Facebook clamping down on people talking about like federated services, to where you're just moving off of things to things that are more open source. So so saying hey, we're going to go from like Facebook to some of the federated alternatives. You're going to go from X to some of the
like
federated things.
Mastodon,
Blue Sky.
to a
So if
lesser
you're
extent.
making, so if you're talking about like competitive federated services, Linux may have gotten caught up in that because they may have, again, set up like AI and some of that content
so you're
moderation
saying
logic.
You think maybe the shadow ban, they were trying to shadow ban those
Yeah,
types of
to
conversations?
have people don't talk
And
don't talk about
anybody's
Lemmy,
like,
don't
so if
talk
I want
about
to set up my
Blue
own
Sky.
federated server, it always says the first thing you need is Linux.
Yes, so then it may have
Because if
very
they're
well just
paired
said like
together.
that's something that we don't want
Wow.
spoken about on our platform.
Possible.
Dudes, this is the most anybody's been talking about Facebook for like 2 years now.
Look at us,
That
we're
is-
relevant
that
today.
is
What
true.
a zinger.
That is true.
Jesus.
All right,
I
so
I mean, if we,
Time to
if we
move
just wait
on.
long enough, the entire crowd of people on Facebook will be dead because no one young
no one will
is
be doing
joining
it anymore.
Facebook at this point.
Once again, the people I graduated from high school with, they're just moving on very quickly. Although one of them did tell me that they have a great income opportunity for me.
Oh,
as
can you
a
make
side
10,000
hustle,
in your PJs?
I can make, dude, I can make $2,000 to $4,000 per month in my PJs with little to no effort with a side hustle.
I've been doing that too, and it's a lot of crypto mining.
It's a lot of crypto mining.
Actually, it's a lot of phone calls. I'm going to be 10
I receive these packages and then I just repackage them and send them someplace else.
It's not a bad review. It's
See,
a bad
that
product.
is not the direction that I went with making money in my PJs and Facebook.
Yeah,
It's like a
Oh,
blue, a blue
yeah.
and white
No,
logo
that's a
of some
different-
kind.
that's a different hobby.
You know, it's like I'm just saying that's not a swear, man.
Does the other John Strand have an OnlyFans? Find out tonight.
Oh, he said it. He said it. You're not allowed to say that word on the internet, or you too will be shadow banned from Facebook.
What, they ban you for that?
You can't say OnlyFans on Facebook, or they will block you.
All right, I'm going to swear jar. 2 OnlyFans.
I think OnlyFans goes in the swear
Yeah.
jar. I think it's a good cause for
It's fair.
BFF.
At least say, go check out my link tree.
Linktree.
What is that one? Is that allowed? Because that just
yeah,
rickrolls you.
link in bio.
Oh yeah, I usually just
yeah.
rickroll people.
How do you
with
know
those.
that?
I mean, we've all been on the internet. We've all been on the
Wow,
internet. I'm
Ralph,
just
we weren't
saying.
gonna say it.
Well, actually.
Sorry. I'm learning things right
All
now.
right, let's
Yeah.
bring up
All
another
right.
story.
No, okay, so the next
We're
story,
going right
this
in
is
the
so we
ditch.
have a swear jar, but I think we should also put money in if we get too close to politics, and this one's going to be tough.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Shit.
so
All right.
We're going to be circling the moon
the
here.
article is basically the best hacking you can do is number one, be Elon Musk, I guess, and then just ask for access to systems, and people will just provide it to you. I guess is the story.
I don't. Okay, so this particular, this particular topic, everyone's quiet, right?
Yeah, because they know we're about to
They
screw
know
up.
we're about to talk about stuff. So I think Republicans or Democrats, can we just say that Elon Musk is kind of an asshole, and we'll just go with that? Can we all agree on that?
Yeah, we. Woo!
Maybe.
Oh,
some
I'll
people-
put some in for that.
Thank you. We'll do that. I don't know how to deal with this topic, right? We were talking about not talking about it. I don't think that we can, but I think it gets into a really interesting intersection of compliance. We put in all these security controls. I've worked with the federal government. I still have an active clearance. And there's a little part of me that dies when I read this story where they're like, not elected, not vetted, no background checks, no real access, no government job role, and they just walk in and they effectively get access to Department of Treasury computer
Well,
systems.
hold on, John, because we have great news. It's not actually Elon Musk himself. He's busy playing Path of Exile. It's what it actually is it's a bunch of 19-year-olds that have previously were playing Path of Exile.
19,225, to be fair.
Yes, and they were previously playing Path of Exile, but have
But now they've been joined.
They've been freed up.
Yeah, they've been freed up.
they've been
yeah.
freed up due to recent events.
I mean, he's a one man. He needs a team of.
He's got to have a
veterans.
posse. He's got to
Yes.
have a posse.
Yeah.
so it's not. Yeah, I mean, I guess the thing that's crazy and it kind of like.
Just one thing.
Well, okay.
That's the one. Okay, here.
So
let's hear it.
the thing that is like they felt the need to call this out is they say that the access is read only, which just as a security person I'm like, what could go wrong? Read only access to all the data. I'm sure that's fine.
There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
right. As we know, that's why Windows domains are so secure because everyone has read only.
Everyone has read-only
It's
access.
fine.
Right?
It's fine. Everyone's read only. You can't just
And
dump
we
all
need
the
Tim
users.
Medine talking about read-only access to service ticket granting tickets and how that turned out, right?
I mean, can you imagine what it's going to be like when the data dump leaks out of Tesla because they left some access keys in a Kubernetes cluster somewhere?
With
It's
read
almost
only?
like you
all
have a
of this
securing
data.
Was it
cloud
read-only?
class and
Read-only?
you're excited for this.
It's not like Tesla's ever done this, but you are going to be able to build a heck of a sociogram using this data.
It's gonna be big. I don't know if I have enough hard drives.
I just want to know, of all the Tesla owners, how many are like strongly pro Elon Musk and how many are strong anti Elon Musk? And like, do they fight when they see each other on the
I
road?
have no idea.
Do
I
the
have
cars
no
have, like,
idea.
do
I'm
they
just
have a
gonna
mode for
quietly
that?
sit over here
So Corey,
and I'm going to pretend like I
The
don't
battle
have a
droids.
Tesla S. So
Well, you could be in either crowd.
yeah, I could be.
There's a mode in the car that says
Corey,
love,
I don't want
hate-
to talk about
I
this.
don't want to
Thank
talk
you.
right now.
All right, sorry, I called people out. I'm sorry.
This topic sucks. All right, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, Corey, we were talking about at lunch, this situation we're in now, where people's paychecks, their Medicare, their Head Start for their preschool kids is not being funded. It's not reaching people's lives. Once you start messing with people's daily lives, that's when people get upset.
That's
Okay,
true.
we got to put money in the jar because we're real close to politics. Put it in.
I got $2.
Got $2. That's
That's
fine.
why
close.
I prepaid.
Hey,
A
can we-
prepay.
I'll diverge just a little. There was a comment in the chat that said, "I'm so sick and tired of my data getting leaked, and now the government's doing it."
Okay.
So, I mean, like,
You're getting used to it after. Hey,
Yeah,
welcome.
it's so-
Hey,
do
welcome.
we just
My stuff was all
desensitize-
breached with the OMB
desensitize?
leak.
No, I told
Yeah, so-
I told CJ this. That's all China. Only China has that.
Only
Who's
China has
TJ?
it. That's good.
It's
CJ,
CJ.
right there,
yeah,
right there.
that
So,
guy.
but I want to bring it back to the security side of it, and I don't like. This is something I'm watching. Okay, so I have this problem. It's called a chaos monkey. Okay, I love chaos. Like whenever you're looking at politics,
true.
the weirder it gets, the more excited I get. It's weird. It's perverse. It's not really one political spectrum or the other. It's just like, oh, this is chaos. My chaos monkey has overdosed, and we're now
Oh, no.
actively trying to resuscitate it over the past few weeks. And when we're talking about this from a computer security perspective, all of the controls that I have to go through anytime I'm trying to get access to a government system, I have to sit down, I have to go through all kinds of training, I have to get read in before you get access to all these different things. And I think my biggest problem with all of this is that was completely bypassed. And that should be a nonpartisan issue. I don't care if you're Democrat or if you're Republican, there should be a vetting process. There should be a validating process before people gain access to data. And that was bypassed completely. And
Yeah.
my concern now is that's the bar. Because as we've talked about over the years, whenever you had like this big kind of goal of removing personal email access on the internet back in 2004, 2005, that got completely shut down because executives wanted to access their private email. And then that became the minimum, and they allowed everybody to access their private email. And my fear is now that you have a situation where if you have enough power in an agency, that you can just completely bypass all of the controls, that's been done. Now we're going to end up in a situation where that's going to become the norm. At
You know
Department of
why?
Interior, when they rolled in computer security during the Cobell versus Norton lawsuits, I remember they said the Secretary of Interior needs to have full root and administrator access to everything.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I mean,
was
it is
like-
the interior.
Yeah.
that's like giving the CISO domain or not
It is.
CISO,
It's
or
the same thing.
Well, yeah, that too. But the CEO domain admin. Like
They have
It's
to-
not a good idea.
Do they need for what?
They have to read everyone's
I
emails.
know. You're
They have
right.
to
They
read
need to be.
everyone's-
Yes, I'm sorry. You can.
Yeah,
all
go
right.
on.
I'm gonna go back here in color.
So, well, thanks.
This is too depressing. We should move on.
No, no,
Yeah.
no. I'm kind of thinking you kind of brought it on yourselves a little bit because you bitched and moaned. That's why I put the 20 in there about compliance and auditing. And maybe now you guys will take us GRC people seriously because now you see there's really a need for it.
No, I look at it as okay. Give that applause. Counterpoint, no, because
Nailed it.
they literally bypassed any of the audit and compliance at all in the
Yeah.
organization, and they were like, "F you. We have cots over there in that office. We're going to have access to those servers," and they bypassed everything. And
Yeah.
that's my concern.
It is wild though. They wrote whole books and how to do this, and they were like, "Those don't matter. We're gonna just do whatever."
Yeah.
Just making this all up.
See, and that's my concern.
Yeah,
'Cause
no,
now
it-
there are no rules. So-
And one
Yes.
Yeah.
one of my concerns is just like the ability to cross-reference information that shouldn't be cross-referenced by an individual that is very vindictive.
Yeah.
If you
Elon
are
Musk.
paying your taxes
What?
with the same email address that you use on X, which why are you still there? But anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
Amen.
That sounds
But
like somebody with experience.
Ooh, keeper.
Potentially could look up the information of dissidents or people that he wants to, quiet or quell, and be able to access their financial information, their personal information, all because it's linked through that email, or other indicators. So I think that's just a concern from, just the personal security of people.
All right, and another angle that I want to take on this is whenever you start having lawsuits that come from this, and there's already lawsuits that are coming up, right? And if they start going through and they start firing people for cause, and they bypassed all of the controls, they bypassed all of the different things, read-only or not, that's going to be difficult to prove. If you're looking at like the Daubert rules of evidence, evidence is admissible in a court of law as long as there's no evidence of tampering. And if you have a situation where you have 5 or 6 people that gained access bypassing all of the controls, what is going to be the impact to any like firing someone with cause or anything that could end up in court? Is this data actually trustworthy data in a court of law at this point moving forward?
Where's the chain of custody?
It's read-only. It's fine.
Because definitely read-only access during a pen test never becomes write access.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Ever.
You never asked for that. That's a second email.
Yeah.
So let's get into some hacky stuff.
Let's do that.
Hacky
So-
Oh, you made
Did we
Corey
do
uncomfortable.
okay kind of tiptoeing a little bit around? I tried.
We only
tried.
spent like $2 on politics.
We
so.
did do $2 on politics.
That's fine.
But yeah.
So before we move, though, obviously we've got a room. No, come on. We got a room full of concerned people, citizens here. What do we do about it?
Get drunk?
Hey.
I don't think there's much you can do. I mean, we all voted already.
So I'm going to say this, like, wait, don't jump on every single news story that pops up down the line, okay?
I don't
I've been
follow
reading
the
news
news.
stories about the age of the people. I've been reading news stories about how they're changing the core COBOL code. That's at the Department of Treasury. I'm seeing all of these crazy stories. Take a beat, let it happen, get the evidence out there, remain calm, stay focused, panic later, okay? Because right now, we just don't have enough information one way or the other on exactly what's going on. There's some stuff that naturally makes people uncomfortable. What you're talking about, we're talking about from a client compliance perspective, we're talking about from a legal perspective, but let's not jump to conclusions quite yet until we know the extent of the damage. And notice how I didn't say, we don't know if they damaged anything. There's goddamn damage. There absolutely is. We do not know the extent of stead.
Oh, that's a 20
damage.
at least.
That's 2.
I'm out of money.
That's 5.
Sorry,
5
John.
each. 5
John, you're
each.
going to have to
Oh,
bust
really?
out
There's
your...
absolutely some damage, but it could be it's not that big of a deal, and it could be something that's catastrophic. Let's not panic, because when you panic and worry, you suffer twice. Okay?
Alex got you,
There we
babe.
go.
So getting into the hacky stuff. So does everyone know what Mark of the Web is? There's mixed responses. So Mark of the Web is the thing in Windows that, for all intents and purposes, tells you whether a file was obtained from the internet and should be treated cautiously, or whether it was obtained from a trusted source and should be treated safely. There was a bypass. Where we're going with this is a 7-zip article for the people running the show. The 7-zip article is basically a fun bypass, and this is like a classic security thing. So there was previously a bypass or a security flaw with 7-zip where it didn't propagate Mark of the Web, which as a red teamer was fantastic because you would just embed a macro document in a 7-zip file, send it in a fish. The person hopefully has 7-zip installed on their computer because it's used to safely encrypt files. They open the archive, it decrypts the document macro, and Mark of the Web is not propagated. Now this was fixed. I think it's in Malware Finds a Way. It's the last article on Malware Finds a Way. Yeah. So basically, this flaw was fixed, where it did start propagating Mark of the Web, and they patched it. But then someone realized that you can just put a 7-zip archive inside of another 7-zip archive.
You double wrap the encryption, and it's double is good.
It's just like triple
7-zip
des.
turtles
triple
all the
des.
way
It's
down.
just like triple des.
You
Now,
gotta-
no one knows what would happen if you did 3 7-zip archives.
You would be surprised at how many 0 days have been discovered because they didn't think someone was going to do it 7 times.
Yes. So, I mean, basically, this vulnerability has been patched, but it's just a fun thing to think about. Like, if you're a red teamer or a malware or whatever, like, just put another layer on it, right? Like, you already got a zip file that's encrypted. Just throw it into another zip file. What could go wrong?
I mean, did it work?
It worked. I mean,
That's
now
how
it's
it
patched
works.
again.
They got to so is this like the Buster phone?
Yes.
You need a Buster.
Yes,
So now
there's
we're
gonna be
need
another patch
another
for
patch
3
For
layers.
3 layers, Steve.
Yes. There's a
Do you think
CVE.
there might be a way to root cause this?
I will say, I kind of want my own CVE, so maybe I should just
Yes, please.
submit it now.
Please.
Before.
I really want to know from like the nerds in the room, how many people in the room have put 7-zip on every computer you've ever touched, including your grandma's?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like nearly everyone.
What about WinZip?
What's a WinZip?
Oh.
You paid for WinRare?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't.
I
know we
will
were
say,
here.
like, just a random fun thing. WinRare has merch now, and it's kind of sick. So just throwing that out there.
Also, in a weird, really hacky thing, Facebook made an.
We're talking
what do
about
you call it, a
Facebook
zip?
again?
Facebook bought WinRare.
Yes. No. Facebook actually has their own zipping protocol.
Oh,
Right?
you mean Z
Is this
standard?
the middle
Z
out?
standard, yes.
Yeah.
yes.
Is this middle out
Yes,
compression?
this
This
is.
is middle out. Yeah.
Anyways, sorry. I
Yeah.
just wanted to say they did something good one day.
No, I was gonna say to wrap up the Mark of the Web thing. There is a really cool GitHub which I will try to find and put in, but it basically has like a matrix of all the different programs, whether they propagate Mark of the Web and whether they don't. Most do, but anyway. News time. That was your cue, John.
That was my cue.
That was
to
you.
come up with another story.
Just make up a story.
I don't know. I've been teaching.
Be an
the past couple of
AI.
days.
Come up with the most likely. I mean, so we can cover a bunch of data breaches because people were like, "Oh, I'm sick of my data being breached."
There were data breaches?
Yeah. So Globe Life announced a data breach of 850,000 people. There's another Grubhub data breach.
Small potatoes, 850K.
Yeah.
I thought that was a
nothing.
duplicate.
What do you mean? Like, what's the data in there? This guy likes tacos.
So this is probably Let's get the info stealer.
Actually,
when you
this is
combine-
interesting because whenever I can't remember, there was another breach where it was basically delivery information.
DoorDash.
And I thought
Grubhub has been
Domino's
breached
was one of
before.
them. But it's interesting what's in these dumps
Yeah.
is sometimes there's gate code numbers.
Yeah.
So it's
nice.
like, if
Yeah,
you
how to
deliver
get to
my
someone's house.
to my house in the Hamptons.
Oh.
The gate code is
Must be
1,
nice to be
2,
rich and
3,
get Grubhub.
4, right? So you can actually see some of those instructions that are there.
Yeah. I mean,
No,
basically,
there's gold in those hills.
for
Yes,
stalkers.
definitely.
It's a
Yes.
stalker's. Yeah.
There's photos probably of front door
People's
steps.
doors,
Yeah, I know
yeah.
in DoorDash I always get the photo and that gets likely logged and stored in an S3 bucket somewhere.
They're
Yeah.
gonna analyze that. This guy needs better.
Yeah. So
decorating.
there's.
The
At
question
least
was,
five.
how many
Every
times
time
did someone get
is the
caught
answer.
naked walking through? I'm guessing not enough.
I will say those Amazon drivers are crazy. Like they're like at 4 a.m. like
I
walking.
know.
What are they doing?
They just chuck the package and run.
Yeah, and they're also naked.
Yeah.
Let's
no.
let's be honest. Like after a certain time of the night, if you are door dashing, it is because you do not want to put pants on.
That's very true.
Can we talk about the Simple Help RMM?
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Survey of the audience. Does anyone use Simple Help, or has anyone ever used it?
It's slightly obscure.
Okay.
Dude, these Venn diagrams.
No one
don't
raised their
touch.
hand.
No. They can't make that
one person-
determination because in security they may not use it, but MSPs and MSSPs
Sure.
do.
How
I was
else do
just
they
curious.
manage the computer?
Of
wow,
the
this
apps,
is a really good hero for this blog. Can we just talk about how hooded that hacker is for a second?
I mean, they must have ran that through the AI generator 3 times.
3 times.
if you
at
do it 3
least.
times, it doesn't get Mark of the Web.
That's it.
Yeah. So basically, we've seen RMM tools get exploited quite aggressively. This is an end day. This was disclosed sometime around 2024, but is not being patched. As you'd imagine, people who use RMM tools heavily also not super great about patching. So
why is it not getting patched?
well, it's patched. They're just not updating it.
Oh.
So like basically this, I'll tell you why. Because you have a water district or a sewer, like you have and they're like, we really need access to this computer because this is the button that says like stop all valves or whatever.
Yeah.
So you got to be able to access that.
All the time.
And setting up a VPN, you have to buy a VPN or buy an appliance that sets
like
up a
NordVPN?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So basically, then you have, we'll just install an RMM tool on it.
Got you.
I'll put it on my personal Simple Help account. What
Simple
could go
Help.
wrong?
Yeah.
Then I'll be able to access it any time of the day. If it breaks, I'm in my PJs. I just DoorDash some stuff or Grubhub some stuff, and I need to access it. But now, unfortunately, hackers are taking advantage of that, and that's just unfair.
Corey, I want to hear what Alex has to say
Oh,
on
yeah,
this.
I mean, one of the things that I noticed was like the clients and the agents that are still on the machine that might have been used in the past. If they're still there, you need to get those cleared off to close this vulnerability and this
Right.
attack surface. And then that's also kind of like just a thing that that I've seen for like open ports for these RMM tools is that companies will have these open for the we might use that RMM tool, and it's like we'll go through, audit which ones you're using, and block the ports for things that you are not using at all. Then, you have that auditing and that visibility.
Yeah. Speaking of blocking ports, there was an article in here about SSH backdoors, which is near and dear to my heart. Let's see if we can find the actual article. I think it's in, let's see. Basically, it's a Chinese-related threat actor tactic.
Was that the telecom one?
Yeah.
It's funny. I see themes.
Yeah,
Mm,
it's
and
crazy.
there's a bear.
And
AI.
it's another AI.
repeating.
Spoiler alert, it's another AI-generated.
I honestly, I don't think that they do anything but that at this point. So.
Are we
It's
talking
so
about
easy.
the AI pictures for the news story?
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, it's elevated the pictures game
They
significantly.
are really
know,
good,
I
I will
know,
say. Like,
yeah.
look at this
Because
panda.
look at this, like this picture of this bear. Like usually what they would do for an article like this is they would just find like a picture that looks like this.
Can we just use
It'd
this
be
for a future
baby
article?
panda.
Maybe it'd be lit up, and if it's a Chinese hacker, it'd be like an Asian face, and that's as far as they would go. That would be it.
That's racist,
I love
John.
that bear.
Yeah.
That bear is slamming.
Let's really
Yeah.
put photo stock out
So
of business.
basically, this is a Chinese hacking group is hijacking the SSH daemon on network appliances by injecting malware into the process for persistence. So if you allow SSH out of your environment, congratulations, so does everyone else. But this is modifying the tools. There are like signatures for this. This is actually ironically published by Fortinet. So
Interesting.
Thank
they
you,
must have
Fortinet.
detected.
They were
it.
like,
Cause of and solution to
they
our
were like,
security issues.
they were like, hey,
It's like a full life circle.
hey guys, ClamAV picked up something.
Oh god.
What should we do? Yeah. So
So were they modifying the client that they had already compromised to call back for their C2? Is that what I'm getting here?
I think that's basically yeah. So they drop SSH lib SSHD,
Yep.
which is a backdoor and is C2, and then they do
Beautiful.
all kinds of evil things. There's like this list. There's 15 commands supported, and I mean these are very specific things. I feel like why don't you just go full command shell? Like
Just command shell. That's
They
one of the
wanted to
things.
keep it small.
I absolutely hate whenever people are reverse engineering malware. It's always the same thing. Like they reverse engineer malware and they're like, it has the ability to run commands from the command prompt. It can run ping. It
No,
can
no,
run
John.
NS lookup. Or in this situation, it can list installed services. Like it's always the
But
same.
what? Okay, but
flipping
what?
things,
It's only checking etc initd. It's not checking systemd files, so that's only half of it.
That's because they know the government runs on Red Hat 6.
Yeah, I mean, what is temp fcontrr.xml? I'm assuming that's a config file.
Oh,
So specific.
interesting.
This is
So,
a fun
so
little.
is the recommendation not to allow SSH outbound entirely?
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
just full disclosure. If we're red teaming you, we're going to use SSH as our C2 because it's installed by default in all Windows systems.
And it's open outbound.
It's open
to
and it's
everything.
open outbound,
outbound.
and you can just create a service that just always SSHs
Yeah.
out, and it's
Yeah.
very convenient. And it has built-in SOX proxying.
But what if I'm the CEO?
Well, you don't know what SSH is,
Oh.
so it's okay.
You're still on Windows 98.
I'll
probably.
let you pass.
You are on the Exchange server.
You
You have
just get
you-
the credentials off the Palm Pilot.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
at
No, I'll
this
look under
point.
my keyboard. It's on a sticky note.
Yeah, exactly. So I will say this is a fun little tidbit in the blog post for that. It says, FortiGuard also noted that it used AI-assisted tools to reverse engineer and analyze this malware. While this wasn't free of problems such as hallucination, extrapolation, is this like one of those medical ads where they're like, may cause death?
May cause hallucinations,
We wrote-
omissions,
We can help.
extrapolations,
Yeah.
and showed promising potential.
we listen, we did write this blog, but we might be full of shit. We
Are we-
don't really know.
Are we going to tell them that using strings on Linux is not AI?
No, but that ClamAV is AI.
No,
Oh,
it is
ClamAV is AI.
Yes,
All right.
exactly.
developing.
Yeah.
All right. I think we got time for one more because we got food starting over there at 6 o'clock for the vendor crawl. So we got food and alcohol out there.
Any audience recommendations for last hot take article? Or you can post in the Discord if anyone has it. We usually try to take at least one article from the audience.
Bonus points if it's politics, DeepSeek,
Instead,
or
today
China.
we took your money
Bingo!
and your hearts. So, no.
Uh-oh.
What about the CIA people?
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I
That's-
really,
wow.
really, truly do not want to talk about that for a number of reasons that I really, truly do not want to get into, and I don't want on YouTube. How's that?
Well,
Several people in the chat did ask for John Strand's Cash App to fund the swear jar.
Oh. If you know you are young, if you got a Cash App,
if you find John Strand's Cash App, it's definitely a scam.
it's a scam.
It's absolutely
it's not
a
real
scam.
cash.
John doesn't know what Cash App is.
I'm going to let you know what John's Cash App is here at the top of the hour.
Oh gosh.
I
yeah.
would say if you really want, just don't go donate to the EFF directly. That's,
Please,
in
yeah.
John Strand's honor, but not the model.
Yeah, just say, yeah, in honor of John Strand's F words. But she has
You know
many
what's
left to
sad
give.
Is they probably know who I am, honestly, because some crap that happened years ago, and I didn't mean it. I was drunk at the time, EFF. But we've always appreciated you and everything that you do, and I think that what the EFF does now is more important than it's ever been. So in all seriousness, please get out there and support the EFF, because we're talking about, you know, digital rights. We're talking about even things like compliance and privacy and all these different things. And there's no organization in the world better than the EFF for that. So please get out there and support them as much as you can.
All right. I think that's it.
All right, everybody.
Thanks
So
for
now
coming.
here's
Thank
what's going to
you.
go on. Here's what's going to happen. We have food and drinks that has been delivered to the vendor area, okay? And Jason's going to explain a couple of different things about what's going on with the vendor crawl tonight, because we have some amazing prizes and some things like that. So I want you guys to go out and please eat our food. We had food brought in. And there's a wonderful little game that we're playing where you're collecting stamps from all the vendors, and then we have a huge raffle here at the end. And then at 8:15, is it 8:15 or 8:30 tonight?
8:30.
8:30. At 8:30, we're doing open mic night, and we're doing karaoke. So if you want to hear someone, as I said in my class today, sing Wish You Were Here very poorly while heavily inebriated, this is going to be the place. And then we're going to do all kinds of fun karaoke. We're going to do dance party. We're going to have the whole thing. It's going to be crazy until about 11 o'clock. So we're not done. And then tomorrow night, we have a whole bunch of craziness again. We're feeding you all, and we're bringing in the mechanical bull. And we're going to have parties for all of that. So we're just going to get rolling. Jason, are you about ready?
Yes. You
All
pretty
right,
much
everybody. Let's get
covered it all.
Jason's screen up. There we go. All right. Take it away, and thank you very much for coming to the news. We greatly appreciate it, and we're going to get this to where it needs to go. Thanks again, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Hey. Raise your hand if this is your first time at Wildwest Hackin' Fest Denver. All right. A lot of noobs here tonight. All right. So since it's our first time, too, we're not 100% sure how we're doing all the things, but here's what we're doing tonight. We're having a stomper stamp. Nope. A spomper. Oh, jeez. A sponsor stampede. And the way it's going to work is in the vendor hall. The vendor hall is past the registration. I was trying to explain to my team earlier how I was going to explain it to you, so I don't know how these speakers work up here. Okay, so let's say this is the registration. Remember you went to registrations like here? Okay? Yeah? And then you're going to go that way to the vendor hall. And then when you get to the vendor hall, do you remember the stamp book that you got, or the book, or the program guide that you got? So you got a program guide. In the center of that, yes, thank you, Penelope. In the center of that is a stamp book area. When you go to the vendor hall area, they're going to give you stamps by visiting all the sponsors. Why? Because we want you to visit all the sponsors. So once you go to there, they'll stamp your stamp book, and then you take it over to the Spearfish General Store where we're selling the REKA hoodies. We are not a cult. Just because we all look the same doesn't mean we're a cult. It's okay if you want to get a REKA hoodie. They're $50. You get a free hat with it. It's fine. Okay, so where the Spearfish General Store is, if once again you're looking at the registration area, if you go to the left a little bit, that's where the Spearfish General Store is. That doesn't help, CJ. Now, CJ, think about this. Let's say I'm looking at the bull right here. Is that behind me? Now, let's see I'm looking at the bull right here. Is that behind me? All right, so the vendor hall is where the sponsors are. Get your stamps. Go to the sponsor. Go to the Spearfish General Store. We'll give you a gift. This gift is from the past, from 2024. It's from Deadwood. In case you didn't get a chance to go to Deadwood, we brought a little bit of Deadwood to you. Also, there's going to be a raffle area over there, and no one explained it to me. So once you get to the Spearfish General Store, they'll explain the raffle to you. And so, Deb, do you know about the raffle? She just said yes. Okay, so if you go and you get a raffle ticket and you win and you keep it, and on Friday, if we pull your number out of the thing, you get a $1,000 travel credit and a ticket to next year, Denver, not Deadwood. Okay, cool. All right, so a couple other things happening tonight. John already mentioned them. My screen went dead, and now it's gone. Okay. Here's a map. For those of you currently attending virtually, this map does not help you in any way whatsoever. But for those of you that are here, if you've already attended class, you pretty much would know where everything is. We're on the second lower level, then there's the first upper level, and then hopefully at some point we're going to have LobbyCon up in the upper level. And so if you're hanging out tonight, we'll most likely be in the LobbyCon up there if you want to join. And then let's see what my next slide is. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so the next slide is not coming up. I'm guessing it has something to do with the open mic night tonight. So at 8:30 tonight, we're going to have the open mic night in Colorado. Yes, in Denver, that's true. But the room is Colorado. Anyone? Is it this room? You guys are so helpful. Thank you. I should have been more prepared. This is great. And then on my next slide, it's in this room? That's fantastic. All right. Did Behind the Bull become a thing? All right. Also can't go to the next slide. So I believe, oh yes, if you see something, say something. That is one of the things. Please wear your badge. It is a bull. Thank you, FedEx. You saw the bull. I appreciate it. All right, so make sure you wear your badge at all times while you're walking around. If you see something, say something. And I do want to, like, if anyone is here and you're by yourself, this wasn't in my notes. No one asked me to say this, but it's something I was thinking about. If you get sick while you're here and you're by yourself in your hotel room, please let someone know, like on Discord or something, like, hey, I'm sick. I can't come. Could someone check on me every once in a while? So just want to make sure that you're all safe. If at any point you feel sick or anything like that, we don't want you to be in a hotel room by yourself, sick, without anyone knowing about that, okay? So just please let us know on Discord. You don't have to, like, come let me know. That'd be strange. And plus, like, having everyone sick just coming to talk to me would not be kind. All right, was there any other slides that anyone can remember? I know you never saw them. I did. I was thinking about doing open mic night and doing stand-up comedy, but I just did, and I killed it. Yeah. All right. So once again, if this is your first time at Wawa's Hack and Fest, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for choosing to come to this event. Thank you for choosing to meet each other. And here's the one thing I want to give advice before you leave. All of you have one thing in common, which means you have more things in common, which means you can talk to anybody in this room about pretty much anything, and you can become new friends with anyone in this room. This is the friendliest community you will ever meet in cybersecurity. So if there's anyone you want to talk to, do not feel that weirdness inside of you that goes, they won't want to talk to me, because I can guarantee you they will want to talk to you. So this is the chance for you over the next couple of days to make lots of new friends, including you virtually in Discord, lots of new friends, because I'm getting a chance to meet some of you for the first time who have been on Discord, and it's awesome. It is so cool to get a chance to meet you in person. And so if you know me from the webcast or from any of those things, please say hi. And if I can introduce you to someone else, I absolutely will. And at this point, I'm going to introduce you to all the vendors. So please go to the vendor area and participate in the sponsor stampede. And thank you so much for being here at Wildwas Hackin' Fest. Have a good night. See you at the open mic night in this room.